In this video we're going to show you proper techniques for quantitative gravity filtration. These techniques will not only help you get good results in your quantitative experiment, they'll also save you a lot of time. The difference in time for good technique versus bad technique can be as much as an hour. Here's a picture of the apparatus you'll need to perform the filtration. You'll see the long stem funnel, filter paper, wash bottle, a waste beaker, and of course the precipitate to be filtered. You'll also see on the right hand side a glass rod with a rubber policeman on it. Begin by folding the filter paper into a cone that'll fit into the filter funnel. This is accomplished by folding the paper in half twice. The second fold, however, will result in two not quite equal sections. In the shorter of the two sections, you're going to rip off the little corner at the top. This will allow the final cone to seat a little bit better into the funnel. Notice that the rip is on the outside of this cone that we make. Place the cone into the long stem funnel. Spread out the cone in the funnel and wet it down with some deionized water from your wash bottle. Press the edges of the filter paper against the glass funnel. You want to make sure that you have a good airtight seal around the top of the filter paper. Next, fill up the filter paper with deionized water and let it drain. If you've done this procedure properly, you'll notice the little bubbles that form in the stem of the funnel. These actually help promote rapid flow of the liquid from the funnel. You may have to help this process along by pressing against the sides of the filter paper with a glass stirring rod. There, now we have a good flow going. We're now ready to do the actual filtration. The first step is to decant the supernatant liquid. That's fancy chemistry talk for removing the clear liquid that sits above the precipitate. We try to do this without disturbing the solid precipitate any more than is necessary. The best way to do this is to use a stirring rod as a guide. This will keep the solid in the beaker, and at the same time it will direct the flow of the liquid into the center of the cone. This will avoid spills and drips. After decanting, we'll have a little bit of liquid and all of the solid in our beaker. Now it's time to clean all the precipitate off of our stirring rod. We do that with the aid of our wash bottle of deionized water and the rubber policeman. Wet the rubber policeman with deionized water, then use it to scrape down the stirring rod. Rinse the stirring rod now that the precipitate has been loosened up. Get all the precipitate into the bottom of the beaker. We next want to transfer as much of the precipitate as possible in one smooth pouring motion. Use the stirring rod to remove any drops from the lip of the beaker. Repeat this process until all of the loose precipitate has been transferred to the filter paper. When that task is completed, the only thing that remains is to scrub down all the glass surfaces where precipitate might be clinging. We do this again with the aid of the rubber policeman. Here we first scrape down the sides of the stirring rod, and then we're going to scrape all the inside surfaces of the beaker. This should dislodge any precipitate that is stuck to those inside surfaces. Notice here how we use the wash bottle to rinse the loose precipitate into the filter paper. When all of the precipitate has been transferred into the filter paper, we'll have to wash it free of any impurities. The first rinse should be used to direct all the precipitate down into the pointy cone of the funnel. After that, the filter paper should be filled and allowed to drain several times. There's usually some sort of test we can do on the filtrate to make sure that there are no impurities coming through anymore. And that concludes this video on filtering techniques.